Alright, this video is over white matter and gray matter. So white matter and gray matter are found in the brain and spinal cord. We've talked about gray matter and white matter before. When we talk about white matter, when you say white matter, this is going to consist of myelinated axons. Myelin is lipids or fats that wrap around neurons. So when we talk about white matter in the CNS, we always refer to them as tracks. Tracks are myelinated axons that make up your white matter. These are bundles of axons that are myelinated inside of the CNS. Now, to review, in the PNS, when we talk about a bundle of axon, we call these nerves. So nerves are going to have basically myelin around them. These are bundles of axons in the PNS. So you might see the word tracks versus nerves, and this is just a good review. Now, gray matter. Gray matter is anything that is not myelinated on a neuron. These are also found in the brain and spinal cord, but these are going to consist of neuron cell bodies. Now we have different names of neuron cell bodies in the CNS versus the PNS. In the CNS, we call our neuron cell bodies nuclei. We know that neurons found in the CNS are called interneurons. So in the CNS, they would be clusters of interneuron cell bodies. And in the PNS, we use a different term. We call them ganglia. Now, when I think of a gang, I think of a group. So these are going to be clusters of unipolar neuron cell bodies. So we have learned that unipolar is a type of sensory neurons used for special senses. Unipolar neurons. So when we look at pictures of the brain and spinal cord, if I were going to draw out a spinal cord, which you will see me do several times today, I can show you the gray matter versus the white matter. So we'll do the spinal cord first because I don't have a picture of this. I'm going to have to draw it. When you draw the spinal cord, your gray matter is this central butterfly area. So I literally am just going to take a pencil. Pencil's the easiest way to color this in. It's gray. All of this would represent your spinal cord's gray matter. This is where all the neurons' cell bodies are going to be found. Now we're going to go over the anatomy of the spinal cord, so you will use this picture again. But your gray matter is this center section. Gray matter is found in the spinal cord as well as in the brain. So gray matter is neuron cell bodies. So in the CNS, the nuclei of interneurons are going to be found within this gray matter. So when talking about the spinal cord, we could call this the gray matter. I'm just going to draw it out right here. Now, we do have a special name for gray matter. which I will add to this later. And then anything on the outside are bundles of axons, which are in the white matter. So anything outside of the butterfly is considered to be your white matter, myelinated axons. And we will use this picture again later. Now, there is a picture that I have provided. This is a frontal section of the brain. Now, when we look at this frontal section, you can see white matter versus gray matter. So out here, let me grab a marker. Just use purple, a pen. This is your white matter in the brain. So we can say that white matter is myelinated axons. And you can see how it looks fibery, like there's axons going across. Now, it's easiest to see gray matter on the outside. We're going to call this the cerebral cortex, the outer portion. It's very thin, but it is consistent of gray matter. Gray matter is going to represent our neuron cell bodies. So, white matter versus gray matter is both in the spinal cord and in the brain. So this is a frontal section of the brain. If you want it to, you can label your pictures as we go. We will use this picture as well. This is a frontal section. Or a coronal section of the brain. If we wanted to actually label the spinal cord, this is a cross section of the spinal cord. So we will be using these pictures again. We'll be adding to them, but this is just over white matter and gray matter.